the truth behind the substance. If you haven't already watched The Substance, I highly recommend pausing here to view it and then returning to this deep dive. At its core, The Substance presents an unsettling commentary on the beauty industry, ageism, and the societal obsession with staying young. It takes these themes to grotesque extremes, showing how the pursuit of perfection can lead to a total loss of self. The story centers on Elizabeth Sparkle, a once revered fitness TV host whose career is cut short simply because she no longer fits the youth-centered mold of the industry. Demi Moore's performance captures Elizabeth's quiet pain. She's poised, composed, yet deeply lonely, navigating a world that sees her worth only in her fading appearance. This solitude becomes the backdrop to her introduction to the substance, a mysterious drug promising youth and beauty. There is also a scene where she encounters a man from high school who awkwardly asks her out, handing her a dirty and soggy piece of paper with his number. The moment was deeply symbolic, because at the height of her fame, this man would never have had the confidence to approach her. But now he doesn't care enough to give her a clean piece of paper. Elizabeth understands the world she chose to live in, a world that judged and valued her solely for her looks. This scene is a quiet acknowledgement of her fading societal worth. From the moment Elizabeth takes the substance, the film shifts into body horror. The transformation sequences are visceral and haunting. Instead of a vaginal birth, her younger self, Sue, emerges not as a clone, but as an unsettlingly perfect, detached version of Elizabeth, bursting out of her spine. A powerful visual metaphor. It recalls biblical imagery, like Eve being created from Adam's rib, signifying a new extension of herself. Margaret Qualley portrays Sue with an eerie magnetism, embodying the external allure but lacking the soul of Elizabeth. This duality, literally splitting oneself in two, becomes the foundation of the film's tragedy. In her new body, Elizabeth, now calling herself Sue, feels revitalized. She resumes her aerobics, embraces her beauty, and auditions for her old TV show. However, the deeper message is clear. Her second chance at youth doesn't lead to a more fulfilling life. She makes the same choices, focusing solely on beauty and career, while continuing to isolate herself emotionally. What makes The Substance stand out isn't just the horror, but its biting social commentary. Elizabeth's journey mirrors real-world beauty standards, where women often feel pressured to alter themselves to stay relevant. The clandestine nature of obtaining the substance, a shady transaction in a desolate alley, is a clear metaphor for the lengths some go to for unregulated beauty treatments. These desperate measures often come without transparency, much like the vague warnings Elizabeth receives about the drug's use. The use of the substance requires balancing time between her old and new bodies, but Elizabeth becomes consumed with her younger self. The dynamic between her older self and Sue deteriorates into a parasitic relationship. Sue needs Elizabeth's spinal fluid to sustain her youth. The spinal fluid is similar to a mother's milk, providing a baby all the necessary ingredients to stay alive. As the story unfolds, Elizabeth's relationship with Sue shifts from symbiotic to parasitic. Initially, Sue injects vibrancy into Elizabeth's life, giving her a second chance at fame and confidence. But the cycle quickly turns toxic. Their relationship collapses into violence and resentment. Elizabeth and Sue fight for dominance, symbolizing an internal struggle between self-acceptance and the pursuit of unattainable ideals. In the end, Sue wins, but at a steep cost. Without Elizabeth as her foundation, Sue begins to deteriorate. Teeth fall out and her beauty crumbles, leaving her as a monstrous figure, one who hides behind a mask of her old self's image to remain presentable. Her desperation spirals, and her identity as Elizabeth, as Sue, and as a human being erodes. The Substance is a chilling allegory of vanity's toll. It starkly reminds us of the dangers of defining our worth by external beauty alone. When beauty fades, as it inevitably does, we are left with the question, what remains? The pursuit of eternal youth and societal approval can strip us of everything: identity, humanity, and even life itself.